it's Danisha and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, as you can see by the title, today we're gonna be doing a sketchbook tour. And this one is gonna be a special one because this sketchbook is gonna be filled with a bunch of Studio Ghibli paintings. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is not technically the first page. It's basically what I was practicing to put here on the cover. I've never really painted on my sketchbook covers, and this time around when I was doing this one, I really wanted to try to add like a little character in the beginning. I was just inspired to do that. So yeah, I just try to follow a couple inspiration I have from different artists and try to create something from my own. So these are all inspired by artists. It's been a while, so I don't know who I was trying to follow for this, but yeah, I basically did a bunch of little sketch and then the final product is right here. And for this page, I think I got that from someone, so I just added in my sketchbook. And this is from my friends from Korea. They wrote my name, Danisha, in Korean, so I thought it was really cute. And yeah, they know that I like Totoro, and I thought it was very fitting for this to be here because this is gonna be a sketchbook full of Studio Ghibli. Wow, I can't speak. A sketchbook full of Studio Ghibli tour and painting. I bought this from Amazon and it's a Strathmore art journal mixed media, and it's 5.5 inch by 8.5, and this one has a hardbound with it, which I really like working with it. And yeah, I really like how it is. I think this one is a 190 GSM, so it's pretty thick and handles the paper well. All right, for my first pages, well, this one is not a Studio Ghibli painting per se, but I thought it was very inspired by the Studio Ghibli scene, and this was the first painting that I did, and then this was more of a second thought, but I really like this. When I saw this on Pinterest, I like how the flowers were falling in, how the tree was casting a shadow with the sun, so it had to be in my sketchbook. And this is around the time I was learning how to make trees with different colors and try different brush strokes. So yeah, with the close-up shot, I'll show you guys how I've basically taken like a tiny brush like this basically and just like continue dabbing in and create some shadows and add white to show the highlights. So yeah, my favorite part was having the flowers kind of falling and just create this whole dreamy aesthetic look. And then I went back doing the same thing for this painting. But of course, whenever a man-made object is concerned, I don't do the best at it, but you can kind of tell it's a car, right? I hope you can. But yeah, those were my first few pages. On to the next painting. This one was a lot of fun to do as well. This scene is from House Moving Castle, and I really enjoy painting the water and the clouds. I think this is around the first time I was trying to use the Himi gouache set, so I was learning how to blend in white and make clouds pop up, but also be able to blend it with the rest of the painting. So yeah, my favorite part was definitely painting this mountain. And yeah, just a lot of dabbing motion with a tiny brush for like the flowers and the grass. So yeah. And for my next painting, I wanted to paint something from Spirited Away, and this scene just was something to me. I don't know, when I was watching the movie and watching her take the train, and I don't know, everything about the scene, I really liked it, and it created some sort of emotion inside of me, so I wanted to add it in my sketchbook as usual. So yeah, you can tell I didn't put too much details in the top one, but I really wanted to focus on the two characters and the still little ones here. So yep, I also tried to add white with gouache, but it kind of ended up looking thick because it was blending too much with it, and I was still learning how to use the gouache set, but I think in the end it turned out decent. Oh, and one more thing too, I was trying to make these look transparent, but since it was gouache, it was kind of like blending it with the background, which I didn't want it because the gouache colors tend to be reactivated once it's like wetted again. So one thing I could have done probably to make it look better in the future is paint the background with like acrylic colors, because those won't be reactivated, and then I could use gouache to kind of glaze over it to make it transparent. But anyway, I still like how it turned out, and I hope that you guys liked it too. All right, for my next painting, I think this was around the time that I was obsessed with Spirited Away, so I made a couple more paintings from the scene. So here was when you were inside the train, and this is some of the view you had while the trains were going by. I wanted to paint this little house and play around with the colors, and just again try to learn how to use my gouache colors and blend it up in the clouds. And this was also fun. I don't really paint water. It was kind of tricky for me to do it, but I think it still turned out decent in the end. Oh, and my favorite part here was adding the little shadow that was being casted by the trees. So I don't know, just little details like that just makes me so happy. So I wanted to tell you guys. All right, on to the next one. Oh yeah, I love this painting. This painting actually became part of one of my popular videos here on YouTube. I was basically showing how to paint Studio Ghibli style bushes, but this painting started it all. I know when I was making a paint with me session with this, a lot of you guys asked, how do I do this? So yeah, you guys really enjoy watching me paint, and I wanted to show you guys how I did it. So if you're interested, I'm gonna link down below the how to paint with me Studio Ghibli style bushes, so you guys can learn along how I did this. But for this painting, I really enjoy painting the flowers in the end. I mean, I enjoy painting nature and trees, so those are already my favorite, but it was the first time that I actually enjoy painting the flowers. When I was painting, I was kind of tired, but because it was the end of the painting, but when I went back to it the next day and looked at it, I really loved the brushstroke that I put in this. Just like the fact I added some white and purple, I really like how it turned out. And again, some more purple here. It was really fun to paint. And the house took me a while, because again, I know I always complain about it. I'm sure you guys who've been watching me are probably tired that I complain about man-made stuff. This took me a while to do, just like adding the windows and everything, but as soon as I was done with that session, I just had so much fun painting nature covering everything else. And I also love touching my paint. I don't know if you guys like doing this, tell me if you do, but I love touching my paintings. So yeah, I hope you don't mind that as I'm like touching everything, but I'll give you more close-up shots in the end. Oh, and this one was from Kiki's Delivery Service, another Studio Ghibli movie that I love. And of course, I had to do more scenes from Spirited Away. I, again, really like this scene as well. I like painting scene that kind of brings emotion inside of me, and I like putting in my sketchbook and looking back at it. So yeah, that's why I created this scene. I really like her running in between the beautiful bushes or flowers, and I wanted to complete the scene by adding what she was looking at. So it's kind of like a time frame. It's kind of like a film scene going on. So this is all the 2 screen cap I got from it. So anyway, I hope I make sense. If I don't make sense, well, I hope my painting is showing you guys what I was trying to convey. But yeah, this was also a lot of fun to do. I love drawing the hands. I think when I was doing that paint with me session, the video is up on YouTube here also, I was talking about how when they run the anime, they like anime girl style, just like ooh, because I don't run like this, but they always make sure that they want to run cutely. So anyway, I really enjoy painting that, and of course adding the background is always a pleasure. So another fun little paint with me session created this beautiful scene. Okay, so for my next one, I painted a scene from House Moving Castle, and to be honest with you, I don't think this is my favorite painting in this sketchbook. I don't know, I feel like I did something wonky with the face, but I guess you could still tell this is from House Moving Castle. This is Sophie and the house. I think I got the name right. Hopefully I got the name right. But yeah, I really enjoy creating this color here. I think I'm being obsessed with this kind of green. But yeah, when it was time to kind of do the line art, I feel like I messed up a little bit, but it's fine. I still enjoy painting it because to me, I'm trying to learn that painting is more about enjoying the process, and you get to learn from your mistake. You just get to make mistake and keep practicing. So that's how I'm gonna end up taking my stance with art these days. So yeah, and it's my sketchbook. Nothing has to be perfect. It's the way I want to create. I don't know. I feel like I'm going on a random tangent again here, but here's the painting. And for my next one, I realized now that I did a lot of Kiki's from delivery service and Spirited Away because this one is back from Kiki's delivery service, and I know I wanted to paint this scene because of the details that were here. I don't usually paint night scenes, and I wanted to challenge myself to try to paint this, and I like the blue color that I had. Of course, I like the little character and then the two little cats. I hope you can tell it's here, but in my close-up you'll see. But this was a lot of fun, just adding the highlights and adding the lights in the buildings. I thought this was really fun to do because I don't really get to do that. So overall, it was a really enjoyable process. I feel like I'm repeating myself by saying I enjoy it, but I do really enjoy painting and creating things in my sketchbook, especially Studio Ghibli scene. It's just fun to be able to learn from what other people design and see what I like painting from it, and just take things that I enjoy and yeah, bring it in my own art style in the future. On to the next one. Okay, so I think we all have these days where you don't want to paint as much, but you want to still try to get something out because, I don't know, it was the weekend and I still wanted to paint something. So I chose something pretty simple. I chose to I chose to paint Gigi, I think. I haven't seen the movie in a while, so I feel like I forgot the name, but I think the name was Gigi. And I really liked the background, which was like how the light was hitting the surface, so I wanted to play around and do that. And I also made it like a very tiny painting because I didn't have much time in the day, but I still wanted to get a painting out. So yeah, this was a pretty simple painting, but I still like how it turned out. And here we go again with Spirited Away scene. Yeah, what is there to say? I really like the scene. I had some sort of emotion that got created, so I wanted to add in my sketchbook, so that's what I did. And yeah, I like these outfits that I had, and I think for this one is I had a lot of fun doing the background. It doesn't look similarly to this actual scene, but I think I was slowly bringing in my own style of painting in it. And yeah, when finishing it up, I enjoy adding the line arts here, and I didn't mess it up like I was doing for which one? I was a little bit nervous about doing this line art like I messed it up here, kind of, but this one turned out better. So yeah, I was pretty happy with this. Oh ho ho, I am sorry for the weird noise, but I am so happy to show you guys this painting. I don't know if you could tell, but I really, really, really enjoy doing this painting. It has everything that I like. It has Totoro, it has painting nature in the background, and adding the rain turned out so nice. And yeah, I was just so happy. I remember when I first did this painting, every day I would go back and just open the sketchbook and stare at it for a little bit, and then the next day I would come back and do it again. I just love everything about it, especially how I painted the background dark and then I made the leaves kind of just come out of it. I love the way it popped out in some section where there was some highlight, and then it would blend in the background for the rest. So yeah, I really liked it. And if you can't tell that I'm obsessed with Totoro, let me see if I could fit this plushie. I have a huge one here. Oh wait, it can't fit. Let me just get you a different shot. Here you go. I have a Totoro plushie and it's huge and I love it. Oh, And this painting brings me a lot of joy as well because this was the first ever Studio Ghibli that I watched without even knowing it was Studio Ghibli. My parents just had this movie sitting around when I was a kid, and back then movies used to be in just CDs, and this movie is called The Cat Returns. So I played it and I fell in love with the animation style, and guess this is where my love for it started. So this is a scene from The Cat Return where the Baron used to live, and yeah, I love painting it. Of course, it was a bit of a struggle to paint lines because I don't like doing that, but after I got through it, I really enjoyed painting this bush here and just kind of playing around with paint and both line art to complete the painting. And for this next painting, I know I have made this painting numerous times in different papers, so I think one of these days I got the inspiration to paint this cloud again. There's just something about this painting that I really like, about the scene. I mean, just the sun, the sunflowers, the hill. I don't know, I wanted it to be within my other paintings as well, so I decided to add in the sketchbook, and yeah, just playing around on how to paint the clouds with gouache. And I think you can tell that I kind of went thick with the paint here. There's me touching my painting again, but yeah, I kind of went thick with it because I believe that I do clouds better with acrylics. So I was still learning how to do it with gouache because it was blending in with the blue background. But I think it's still fine. It's just my art style again, and I'm learning every day. So yeah, I like the shadows I created in the clouds, and of course adding the green was a lot of fun as well. On to the next one. Oh boy, this was also a lot of fun to paint because you can see all the leaves I got to add here and creating some shadows. I just love when the sun hit nature and then the shadow that it casts. I love doing that, so that's why I had a lot of fun painting it. It was my first time painting like glass and the reflection of it, but I like how everything turned out to be, and yeah, just a lot of fun layering and blending colors, and I think you guys really enjoy when I did my paint with me session in this one. Oop, this one. Okay, so if you've seen my channel before, you probably remember that that's also one of the popular videos that I have. I think a lot of people enjoy when I show how to paint something. So here I was showing you guys how to paint trees, Studio Ghibli style. And this was taken from The Cat Returns. I know a scene from there. It was really pretty. And I think those trees, I took it from, if I remember correctly, or maybe not, but it's kind of similar to these trees. So I tried showing you guys how to do that, and I just love the different brushstroke that I created on the trees. And yeah, basically using like a pointy brush, you just gotta become really patient and just like kind of dab it in, and the background you can be more loose while you paint. So yeah, it's just about balance, painting loosely and then adding some details in specific section to bring the eye to a specific portion. So like here, you can tell I try to bring more details here, so this will kind of draw your eyes here a little bit. And same thing here, you can see like the shadows and then just like a couple leaf being highlighted by the sun. Anyway, if you want to watch the tutorial, I also will link it down below, but yeah, I don't want to just explain you guys now, so this is just a tour so you guys can look what I did. And also here's my quickly painted clouds because I wanted to focus on the trees, but I think it's cute. And a big switch from what I've been doing, I paint a lot of nature, and this is from Ponyo, and the animation was pretty different. It's kind of, how do I say this, like glassy looking. It's not as this type. I can't get the word. Wow, you can tell I'm an artist, so I express myself better in painting than words, so I hope you guys don't mind. But can you see the difference between like the flow of the painting here compared to here? So I still wanted to add it in my sketchbook because I really enjoy the clear distinct between the colors, except for this part, but I really enjoyed seeing how there were some highlights here and how there was some reflection going on. Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm mumbling now, so let's just enjoy the painting by looking at it rather than listening to me ramble. And we are back to painting nature, which is my favorite part. And this scene was from Poco Rosso, and it was just so beautiful. As always, I love when the sun hit nature. I love being able to show distinction with like shadows and where the sun's hitting. My clouds still need some more work, but look at this leaf. This is amazing. I just love that you see the back of the leaf, and then from the other side you can tell that the sun is shining through it, and I just love this detail so much. So I don't know, this is just my favorite section of this painting. Well, I like the other one, but this is different and I really enjoy how it looks like. And here's another scene from Kiki's Delivery Service. I love this one because it's cuteness overload. I love this little kitties here, and then the little butterfly here, the cute little look that it's giving. And you can probably tell though, I think I didn't wait for this painting to dry completely and I closed it, because you can tell some of the painting got scratched away, but it's still fine. It's my sketchbook. You can tell I had some fun painting it, and yeah, painting those leaves was fun too. For my next two paintings, I love doing two paintings at a time. So just like the Spirited Away one, I wanted to do one for Totoro because I love Totoro. And I also like this little character that was walking and then looking back. It's just, the expression was so cute, so I wanted to capture both of it. So yeah, I love doing it. I love painting the green colors. You can tell this little brushstroke details. Those are my favorite. I love being able to show shadows and then highlights again and be able to show it from my different brush strokes. So this was fun as well. Another fun little painting that I did is again from Kiki's Delivery Service. I love being able to add line art in the front one just to create more of a foreground kind of look, and then the background just kind of blending in. And I also enjoy doing the hills in the background. So those two things were my favorite part, and of course adding line art for Kiki was fun too. The clouds, but it's there. These are clouds, it's fine. This is my main focal point here that I enjoy. All right, for my next one, this is a scene from Whisper of the Heart. I really like this movie as well. But again, I think when I started adding the line work for it, I kind of messed up the face, but you can still tell the characters. I wanted to again try out painting like a night scene and showing the background lighting up in the buildings. So yeah, it was still fun to paint. I just got a little bit frustrated painting the characters, but that's okay. It's fine. All right, if you can't tell by now, this was a lot of fun to paint. It took me a while to figure out how to do grasses because sometimes I do get impatient. So trying to add those little brush strokes to create the grass, I was just like, when am I gonna be done with this? But I remember taking like a little break in between and then coming back to it just to complete it. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. Creating the shadows here made it pop out, especially with adding the highlights on the bushes here. And also I learned that you can create some sort of shadows but then blend in the background by mixing your green with a little bit of blue. So I love this section here, and I like this one here. I mean, I like the whole painting. What am I talking about? I really like this painting. And if you guys are interested, I am thinking of selling prints of this painting soon. I just haven't had the time to work on them, and if I want to sell them, I want to make sure they are high quality and I have time to ship them over. So make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell notification, because if I'm gonna open something like a shop or anything like that and sell my prints, I'm definitely gonna announce it here in this channel. For the next painting, this was from Princess Mononoke. I was really liking the look of filling my whole sketchbook with it. I guess I didn't fill it up all the way, but I still like going over 2 pages just for one painting. It looks kind of cool. I mean, I hope it looks nice, but yeah, I really enjoy painting with white and working with the shadows here. Adding the blood here was kind of fun. So yeah, I overall really enjoyed this look and super happy I didn't mess up the face this time around, but hope you enjoy it too. And this painting was from Castle in the Sky, I believe. Yeah, I think so. And yeah, this was also a lot of fun to paint. I love creating this glare, I think it's called, what the sun kind of goes through it. Yeah, I don't have much to say except that you can see the similar brushstroke that I did on it, and this was a fun little addition to add. Another lovely scene from Ponyo, and guess why I painted this scene? Well, I did it because of the food. I know a lot of us love watching Studio Ghibli because of the animation and especially the way they do the food. So this time around I wanted to paint food, and I challenged myself even more because I've been using gouache for most of the painting, but I think around this time I was doing this painting I got a watercolor set. So I tried painting with watercolor and this is how it turned out. I would like to say this is how I also look when I get good food. And for the next one, I think for this page I was testing out a new set of brush that I got. I think this was from Totoro, I can't remember. But again, I was trying to play around how to paint with watercolor, especially adding those clouds, because you can't really add too much layer. You have to work with the whites. I mean, for a specific style that I was going in, you have to work with the whites of your paper and then add the shadows on top. So yeah, I was playing around with it, and I think I don't enjoy it as much because I think I was using more of a gouache painting style using watercolor and they don't really go well. But with time I will practice some more and hopefully figure out how to do watercolor. But it's still good to practice, so yeah, that's why I'm showing you guys this one as well. And for my next painting, I've been seeing this on Pinterest. I forgot what movie this was from. I will link it down below or write it down here if I remember, but I really like painting this Studio Ghibli scene. There was supposed to be a car here, but I got lazy and removed the car and just added the shadows that the leaves were casting on the road and adding the hills and playing around with my clouds. I feel like I messed this up. This little stain probably happened when I hit my pencil with it, but we're just not gonna look at it. We're just gonna look at the painting overall, which I really enjoy, and I hope that you guys like this print as well. Print? I meant painting. Oh, and for this one, remember how I was talking about I had a tutorial how to paint bushes Studio Ghibli style? This was the different studies that I did from this inspiration on this painting, this one. So I was basically showing you in my other video how I would go about it and what's the color theory in it. So this is the end result of my little tutorial, and yeah, I really enjoy doing the different brush strokes in it. On to the next one. So these are paintings that I did after taking a pretty big break. There's a between this page and this page, I think there was like a month or two of gap when life got busy and I couldn't paint. So when I got back into painting, I wanted to challenge myself to paint different characters. I was being obsessed with like the lo-fi girl, and my theory was like lo-fi girl was actually inspired from Studio Ghibli scenes, so I wanted to do different scenes from it. And yeah, this was from Whisper of the Heart. This one was from Up Poppy Hill. It's something along those lines, from Up Poppy Hill, so I like that. And this one is not actually from Studio Ghibli. I wanted to add this in the sketchbook after playing a lo-fi playlist, and this was really cool because you could see like the mouse kind of hovering hovering, moving. And yeah, I wanted to kind of add it along this line. And we are getting close to the end. So I know that you guys really like this one. I think I did this painting on my laptop. I believe I did that on my old laptop, which I lost somehow. It was in a laptop that got broken. So yeah, I don't have this painting anymore. So I wanted to add in my sketchbook and kind of just paint over 2 pages at the same time. And yeah, I love how it turned out. There was a lot of details. You can tell each of the singular brushstroke put together. Adding the roses were a lot of fun, and the little characters here was fun. Oh, and I also think I was slowly getting better at painting the clouds. I think. I hope. But yeah, I like how the clouds turned out as well. And the next one, I love painting the mountain. As you can tell, I put a lot of detail here. I think this was gouache or some mix of acrylic gouache just for me to add the snow on the mountain. And I just love being able to use like a pointing brush just like that again and just adding the details with it. And this time around, painting the building wasn't too bad, even if it was man-made, because it was kind of small and most of the rest of the painting was nature. So again, it was a lot of fun. And for my final painting, it's not a Studio Ghibli one, but I think you guys will still enjoy it. It's a scene from the Avatar. It's a sad scene. Again, I like painting things that create emotions in front of me, inside of me. Yeah, I enjoy painting that. I like seeing kind of the sun glowing into the grass and then having like the highlights here. So this was super nice to paint, and yeah, love painting the sky, which was not blue as all my previous paintings, so it was a nice little change. All right, that was the end of it. I don't think I have any other painting. I reached the end of the sketchbook, and yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this sketchbook tour and I kept pushing it, but I finally did it. So let me know what you thought about this video, what you thought about each of the painting, and if you would like to have prints of it in the future. I just have to figure out when I'll have some time to do it. And also, comment down your favorite painting in this sketchbook. I would really like to know which one you liked. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Allez, bye!